It was a cold night on the edge of Colony 7, a small human settlement on a quiet planet called Elora. The sky was clear, and the stars looked like tiny lights scattered on a black blanket. Liam, a middle-aged farmer, was sitting outside his wooden house, drinking warm tea and looking at the stars. He lived alone, far from the town. His farm was small but peaceful. No one disturbed him, and that's how he liked it. Suddenly, a loud sound broke the silence. Boom! Liam stood up quickly, nearly dropping his cup. A bright light flashed across the sky, like a fireball falling from space. It crashed into the forest, not far from his house. Birds flew out, animals ran, and the ground shook for a few seconds. "What was that?" Liam whispered to himself. He grabbed his old flashlight and his coat, then jumped into his small hover truck. The forest was dark and quiet, but he followed the smoke rising in the distance. After 20 minutes, he reached the crash site. Trees were broken, and there was a large hole in the ground. In the center of it was a small ship, silver and round, half buried in the soil. The ship was damaged, smoke coming out from the sides. Strange glowing symbols were written on the outside. Liam had seen many machines in his life, but this was nothing like any human ship. He slowly stepped closer, careful not to make noise. Part of the ship's wall had broken open. Inside, he saw blinking lights, sparks flying, and broken seats. Then he saw them, 2 small figures lying on the floor. Children. No, not human children. They were small, maybe 6 or 7 years old in human age. They had smooth, pale skin with blue patterns glowing softly across their arms and cheeks. Their eyes were closed, and they were not moving. Liam's heart beat faster. He checked their pulse. They were alive but weak, without thinking twice. Liam picked them up, one in each arm, and hurried back to his hover truck. He drove as fast as he could, looking behind often to make sure nothing was following. Back at the house, Liam placed them gently on his old bed. He turned on a small heater and covered them with blankets. He looked at their faces. They looked peaceful now, even in their sleep. One of them, the boy, had a scratch on his forehead. The girl had burns on her arm. Liam cleaned their wounds and gave them water. He had no idea what species they were, but they looked harmless, just scared and lost. As the night passed, Liam sat beside them, watching carefully. He had always lived alone, no family, no kids. But something inside him told him to protect these 2. The next morning, the boy woke up first. He sat up quickly, eyes wide, and looked around. Liam raised both hands to show he meant no harm. "It's okay," Liam said softly. "You're safe here." The boy didn't speak. Instead, he looked at his sister, then touched her hand. The girl slowly opened her eyes too. Both children stared at Liam with confused eyes. Then, something strange happened. The boy touched his chest and said a word. "Neo." Liam pointed to him and repeated, "Neo?" The boy nodded. Then the girl pointed to herself. "Lyra, Neo and Lyra," Liam said, smiling. "I'm Liam." The twins didn't understand everything, but they smiled a little. Their eyes were full of emotion, fear, sadness, but also hope. Liam gave them soft food and water. They ate slowly, still weak but alive. Days passed, and Liam built a small room for them beside his own. He taught them simple words like food, water, safe, and friend. Neo was curious. He touched everything and liked to play with Liam's tools. Lyra was quiet but smart. She watched everything and tried to learn fast. Liam found himself laughing more, talking more. For the first time in years, his house felt warm, not just in temperature but in feeling. It was no longer just a house. It was turning into a home, but something odd started happening. One day, Liam's broken water pump fixed itself overnight. Another day, his old radio started working again without new batteries. And one morning, he found a plant in his garden growing twice its normal size. He looked at Neo and Lyra, who only smiled back at him. He didn't ask questions. Not yet. All Liam knew was that 2 lost children had fallen from the stars, and somehow they were now his. Liam's life had changed completely in just a few days. Before, his days were quiet and lonely. He spent most of his time working in the field, fixing machines, or watching the stars alone. But now there was laughter in the house. Little footsteps echoed in the hallway. 2 strange glowing children filled his home with life. Neo and Lyra were learning fast. Liam was surprised how quickly they picked up words. At first, they only spoke 1 or 2, but soon they could form short sentences. Neo would ask things like, "What is this?" or "Can I help?" Lyra didn't speak much, but when she did, her voice was soft and careful. She liked to read picture books and follow Liam quietly as he worked. Every morning, Liam cooked breakfast, usually eggs, bread, and some fruit from his garden. The twins sat at the wooden table, wide-eyed and hungry. They always said thank you, and they tried to copy Liam's habits. Sometimes Neo ate with his hands, forgetting to use a fork, but Lyra would gently remind him. Liam smiled at their small fights and quick hugs. One evening, Liam stood on the porch, watching the sunset. Neo came running up to him, holding a broken toy hovercar he had found in the storage room. "Fix?" Neo asked, offering it to him. Liam took the toy and looked at it. Might be hard. The wires are too old." Neo tilted his head and touched the car. His fingers glowed faintly for a second. Then, the car's engine lit up, and it floated in the air for a few seconds before landing gently. Liam blinked in surprise. "How did you do that?" Neo just smiled. "Magic?" Liam laughed. But deep inside, he felt something strange. That wasn't magic, it was something else. Something powerful, but he didn't ask more questions. The twins had been through enough. He didn't want to scare them. As days passed, more strange things happened. One night, the lights in the house flickered. Lyra was drawing with crayons, and as she drew stars on the paper, tiny lights sparkled around her fingers. The lights danced in the air and faded after a few seconds. Liam saw it from the kitchen but stayed silent. Another time, when a storm hit the farm, Liam rushed outside to tie down the tools. A strong wind blew, and a large tree branch almost fell on him. But just before it hit, it floated in the air and landed softly beside him. When he looked back, he saw Lyra at the window, her eyes glowing. "Was that you?" he whispered. She didn't answer, but he saw her press her hand against the glass. Liam started keeping a notebook. He wrote down every strange event: machines fixing, plants growing faster, small objects moving on their own. It was clear the twins were not ordinary. But he still didn't understand how or why. He also began to wonder where they came from. The ship was still in the forest, hidden and silent. Liam had visited it once more, covering it with branches and leaves. He didn't touch anything inside. He was afraid someone might come looking. One morning, Liam drove the twins to a nearby field. It was a quiet place, with wildflowers and a small stream. Neo ran through the grass, laughing and jumping. Lyra sat near the water, touching the ripples with her fingers. Birds flew overhead, and the air was fresh and clean. Liam sat under a tree and watched them. He couldn't believe how fast he had grown attached to them. He never thought he would become a father, especially not to alien children from another world. But somehow it felt right. They needed him, and maybe he needed them too. That evening, after dinner, Neo brought out a small glowing stone. It looked like it came from the crashed ship. He placed it on the floor between them. "Story?" he asked. Lyra nodded and sat beside him. Liam sat too, curious. Neo touched the stone, and images floated in the air: shapes, colors, strange symbols. Liam couldn't understand them, but he saw something like a planet, a ship, then fire, and destruction. He saw the image of 2 small children hiding in a silver room, a woman placing the glowing stone into Neo's hands. and a voice saying something soft in another language. Then the light faded, and the stone turned dark again. Liam didn't know what to say. He looked at the twins, who both had tears in their eyes. "That was your home?" he asked softly. They nodded. "Your family?" Lyra looked at the sky and whispered, "Gone." Liam felt his heart ache. He pulled them both into a hug. "You're not alone anymore," he said. "I don't know what happened to your world, but you're safe here with me." Neo hugged him tightly. Lyra closed her eyes and leaned against his chest. The stars outside shined brightly, as if watching over them. Liam didn't know what the future held. But tonight, he made a silent promise. He would protect them, no matter what. He didn't know their powers. He didn't know the danger they carried. But he knew one thing for sure. He loved them like his own. Weeks passed, and life on Liam's farm became calm again. Neo and Lyra were growing stronger. Their skin glowed a little brighter, their smiles came more often, and they laughed more freely. Liam fixed up a small classroom corner in the house. He taught them reading, writing, and how to use tools. In return, they helped him with farming and repairs. But something was about to change. One cloudy afternoon, while Liam was working in the greenhouse, Neo and Lyra found an old metal box in the shed. It had fallen from a high shelf and rolled open. Inside, they discovered a strange round device, smooth, silver, and covered with glowing lines. It was a piece from their crashed ship. Neo's eyes widened with recognition. He remembered this. It was a signal sender. He used to see their mother speak through it. "Neo, no," Lyra said softly. "Danger." Neo shook his head. "Just look." He pressed the center of the device. Lights blinked to life. A soft hum filled the air. The device floated slowly above the floor, spinning gently. Then a small beam of light shot into the air, forming strange shapes and symbols. Lyra stepped back. "Stop." But it was too late. Far above the sky, in deep space, a hidden satellite caught the signal. It translated the energy and sent it across the stars. Within hours, a massive warship floating in the cold darkness received it. On the bridge of the ship, a tall alien with metal armor stood still as the signal played again. His name was Commander Varnex, leader of the Varn Empire's hunters. His glowing eyes narrowed. "They're alive," he said. One of his officers nodded. "The signal is weak but clear. It came from a human colony, planet Allura. Prepare the fleet," Varnex ordered. "The twins must not survive." Back on Allura, the signal device powered down and floated to the ground. Liam returned and saw the strange machine. "What's this?" Neo quickly hid it behind his back. "Nothing." Liam raised an eyebrow. "Is it from the ship?" The twins looked at each other, but said nothing. Liam sighed and knelt down. "Look, I'm not angry. But if something is dangerous, I need to know. You're not just children anymore. You're part of this family." Lyra slowly stepped forward and gave him the device. Liam looked at it carefully. He could tell it wasn't made by humans. "What does it do?" "Talks to space," Lyra whispered. Liam's eyes widened. "You sent a message?" Neo nodded. Liam stood up slowly. His hands were shaking. "Did anyone hear it?" The twins didn't answer. That night, Liam couldn't sleep. He sat on the porch, staring at the dark sky. What if someone out there was now coming? What if the children were in danger again, and this time, so was he? The next day, Liam took the device and buried it behind the barn. He didn't tell the twins. He just wanted to keep them safe. A few days later, a new visitor arrived in town. His name was Officer Brandt. He wore a clean white suit and drove a government vehicle. He said he worked for the Galactic Safety Department and needed to check the farms for energy leaks. Liam didn't trust him right away. Brandt's smile was too perfect, and his questions were too sharp. "You live alone?" Brandt asked. "I do," Liam said. "No one else here?" "Just me and some animals," Liam replied. Brant walked around, scanning with a small device. It beeped near the house, then stopped. He looked at the walls, the sky, and the field. Let me know if you see anything strange, he said before leaving. Sometimes, dangerous things fall from the sky. Liam watched him drive away and then locked the door behind him. That night, he told the twins everything. Someone came today. He says he's from the government, but I don't believe it. I think they're looking for you. Lyra looked down. Worried, Neo clenched his fists. We fight. No, Liam said firmly. We hide and we stay safe. Liam started making plans. He packed emergency bags. He hid supplies under the floor. He checked the old tunnels under the farm built long ago during the first colony days. If things went bad, they could escape underground. He also visited his old friend Mira, a retired space pilot who lived in the mountains. I need help, Liam said. But you can't ask why. Mira looked at him closely. Is this about those strange energy readings? Liam didn't answer. Mira sighed. I owe you my life. If you say it's important, I'm in. Back on the warship, Varnick stood in front of a star map. Elora was close. His fleet was large and ready. He stared at the image of the two children. Find them, he said coldly, and destroy anyone who protects them. Back on the farm, Liam held a map and looked at the sky. He didn't know when the danger would come, or what form it would take, but he knew one thing. The peace was over, and the fight to protect his new family was just beginning. 2 days passed since Officer Brant visited the farm. Liam stayed alert. He fixed the outer walls, set up sensors, and kept the hover truck full of fuel. He didn't tell the twins how serious things were, but they could feel it. The happy, peaceful days had become quiet and tense. Lyra stayed close to the window. She often looked at the sky, her silver eyes full of worry. Neo spent more time near Liam, trying to help with tools and repairs. Something coming, Lyra whispered one evening. Liam looked at her. How do you know? She didn't answer, but her eyes glowed faintly, and her hands trembled. That night, Liam heard a soft beep from one of his scanners. He rushed outside. A blinking red light showed movement, something flying low in the sky, fast and silent. Not a bird, not a normal drone. It was a black triangle-shaped ship, smooth and sharp. With no sound, it flew over the forest and circled twice above the farm. Then it disappeared. Liam returned inside, heart pounding. He didn't sleep at all. The next morning, he drove to town to meet Mira again. He told her about the flying ship. They found you, she said. That wasn't just a scout. That's a hunter drone. Liam looked around. So what do? I do? You run, Mira said. Now, before it's too late. But I don't even know where to go, Liam said. I do, Mira replied. There's an old outpost in the desert, far from any city. I'll guide you there. That afternoon, Liam returned home and began packing quickly. He told the twins, We're going on a trip. It's not safe here anymore, Neo frowned. We leave home? Liam nodded. For now. We'll come back later, I promise. Lyra touched the wall gently before stepping outside. Thank you, house. Just as they were loading the hover truck, Liam saw something in the sky again. This time, it wasn't one drone. It was 3. They flew silently above the trees, scanning the land. Liam grabbed the twins and pushed them into the truck. Stay down, he shouted. He jumped in and sped away, dust flying behind them. The road shook as the drones passed over, scanning heat and energy signals. The hover truck raced through the old mining trail. Liam kept his hands tight on the wheel. The wind blew hard, and the sky turned gray as clouds gathered. Then, without warning, one of the drones dropped down from the clouds and blocked the road ahead. Liam swerved, driving off-road and into the forest. The truck bounced and shook over roots and stones. Neo and Lyra held on tightly. The drone fired a blue beam, burning trees near them. Liam turned sharply and drove into a narrow path between rocks. The drone tried to follow, but the gap was too small. It hit the rocks and spun out. Liam drove for another 10 minutes before stopping in a hidden cave behind a waterfall. He had discovered this place years ago, but never used it. "We'll stay here tonight," he said, breathing hard. Later, while the twins rested, Liam looked at the sky through a crack in the rocks. He didn't know how much time they had. The enemy had found them faster than expected. It meant that someone on the planet was helping the hunters, maybe even Officer Brandt. That night, Lyra woke up from a dream. She sat up quickly, her eyes glowing in the dark. "Neo," she whispered. "They are here." Neo opened his eyes and nodded. "I feel it too." Liam woke to their whispers. "What is it?" "The bad ones." "Near," Lyra said. Liam listened. At first he heard nothing, but then he caught a faint sound like metal wings slicing air. A soft hum. Drones again. Liam stood up. "We have to move, now." They climbed into the hover truck and drove out the back path, staying close to the cliffs. The truck's lights were off. Liam used only night vision goggles. It was slow, but safe for now. After a long drive, they reached the edge of the desert where Myra was waiting with her own vehicle. "You're late," she said, "but I'm glad you made it." They moved together through the dry canyon roads. The sky above them was filled with stars, and far away, lightning flashed behind dark clouds. Finally, they reached the old outpost. It was built deep inside a rock wall, covered with vines and hidden doors. Mira unlocked the entrance. "No one comes here anymore. It's not on any map." Inside, there were old bunk beds, food rations, solar lights, and a power generator. The walls were made of strong metal. "This will be our hideout," Liam said to the twins. "You're safe here." Neo walked to a window and stared out at the stars. "They followed us," he said. Lyra nodded. "They will come again." Liam sat down, tired but focused. "Then we'll be ready. Next time we fight back." Far above the planet, the Varn warship hovered like a shadow in space. Commander Varnik stood before a screen showing a map of Elora. "They escaped again," said his officer. Varnik narrowed his eyes. "Let them run. They cannot hide forever." He turned to another officer. "Send down the shadow unit. Begin the surface sweep. I want those twins alive." Back at the outpost, Liam checked his old rifle. Mira handed him a new one. "If they come," she said, "we hit first." The twins stood beside them, their eyes glowing faintly in the dark. They were not scared. They were ready. The old outpost was quiet. Only the soft hum of the power generator filled the silence. Liam sat near the door with his eyes on the screen that showed the outer camera views. Mira was fixing the security locks on the back wall. The twins sat together in the far corner, drawing shapes with light on the metal floor using only their fingers. Since reaching the outpost, Liam had asked no questions. He didn't want to push them. He thought the children would speak when they were ready. But the time had come. That evening, after dinner, Liam brought out his notebook. He turned to a fresh page and sat across from Neo and Lyra. "I need to know the truth," he said gently. "Who are you? Why are they hunting you?" Lyra looked at Neo. Neo gave a small nod. "We tell," Lyra whispered. Neo placed his hand on the ground. A soft blue light spread in a circle, and a floating image appeared above it. Liam and Mira leaned closer. The image showed a beautiful planet, full of silver trees, blue skies, and tall glass towers. Then it changed. Ships filled the sky, fire rained down, and darkness covered the land. Loud explosions filled the scene. Then came the image of a woman and a man, tall, graceful, with glowing patterns on their skin, just like the twins. "Mother." "Father," Lyra said. "They were rulers?" Mira asked. Lyra nodded. "Kind people, led with peace. But someone Didn't want peace, Neo added. The Varn, they came from the void. They wanted power. Liam's face tightened. So they destroyed your world? They did, Lyra said, her voice shaking. But before the final attack, our mother hit us. She sealed our true powers, sent us in a small ship. We escaped. She gave us this, Neo said, and opened his palm. A small crystal stone glowed in his hand. What does it do? Mira asked. It holds our family's memory and our real power. Liam leaned forward. Real power? Neo looked at Lyra. She closed her eyes. Her hands glowed softly, and the air around her shifted. Liam felt the floor get lighter. His body was floating. So was the table. Lyra opened her eyes, and everything gently landed again. Then Neo stood up. He raised his hand, and a beam of light shot from his palm to the wall, burning a perfect circle in the metal. The mark glowed, then faded. Liam's mouth dropped open. You're more than just special, Lyra stood slowly. You're energy beings, not just alien kids, Lyra nodded. Our people could control gravity, light, healing, and thought. But we were peaceful. We didn't use powers for war. The Varn, they used it to destroy, Neo added. We are the last. Silence filled the room. Liam looked at them. They were only children, yet they held the strength of stars. He took a deep breath. You're safe with us. But you need to learn how to use these powers, because they're coming. Later that night, Liam stepped outside with Myra. They're not just kids, he said. They're keys to something bigger. Mira nodded, which is why the Varn will never stop. Suddenly, the outer alarm beeped. Liam and Mira ran to the screen. 3 heat signals were approaching from the canyon. Fast. Liam grabbed his rifle. Mira loaded her blaster. Time to see what we're really up against. Inside the outpost, the twins stood up. Their eyes glowed again. They are here, Lyra said. Shadow soldiers. Outside, the wind howled. Dust rose as 3 dark figures moved across the rocks. They wore black armor, tall and silent, with long weapons strapped to their backs. Their eyes glowed red through their masks. One of them raised a device. It beeped. They're inside, the soldier said. Liam fired a warning shot from the window. The laser hit the ground near the intruders. But they didn't even flinch. They're not human, Mira said. Be ready. The first soldier shot a pulse blast at the door. It shook but didn't break. Mira returned fire, hitting one of them in the leg. Sparks flew, but the soldier kept walking. Lyra and Neo stood near the center of the outpost, calm, but alert. They want to take us, Neo said. Lyra looked at the crystal stone. We must unlock it now. Are you sure? Neo asked. She nodded. They placed their hands on the stone together. Light burst out, filling the room. The air grew warm and bright. Liam had to cover his eyes. The stone rose into the air then. Split into 2 pieces, one for each twin. The pieces melted into their chests and disappeared. Lyra's eyes turned silver white. Neo's body shimmered with golden light. Outside, the soldiers stopped. What is that? One whispered. Then the door burst open, not from the outside, but from within. Lyra floated a few feet above the ground. Her hand rose, and a wave of energy pushed the 3 intruders backward, crashing them into the rocks. Their weapons flew from their hands. Neo stepped forward and pointed. Light beams shot from his palms, breaking the soldiers' armor. They groaned and disappeared in a blink, teleported away by some hidden command. Lyra landed slowly. Neo walked back to Liam and hugged him. I am still me, he said softly. Liam hugged him back. Yes, you are. The next morning, the outpost was quiet again. Broken walls and scorch marks showed the fight from the night before. Liam stood at the edge of the canyon, looking out at the dry land and distant hills. The sun was rising, but his heart felt heavy. Inside, Mira checked the power system. It had taken damage from the shadow soldiers. This place won't last another attack, she said. I know, Liam replied. They'll be back, with more. Lyra sat on the floor, her eyes closed. She was tired after using her powers. Neo sat beside her, holding her hand. Liam looked at them. They were strong but still just children. They needed protection, not battles. We should leave again, he said to Mira. Where? She asked. Liam had no answer. He paced back and forth. We run, they follow. We hide, they find us. Then maybe we stop running, Myra said. Maybe we fight. Liam turned. With what? Old rifles and broken walls? We're just two humans. They have ships, drones, soldiers. Mira opened a drawer and pulled out a small silver disc. Not just that. I still have this in old call beacon. I can send a message to nearby colonies. If anyone hears, they might help. Liam shook his head. What if no one comes? Then we fight alone, she said. But at least we fight. Later that day, Neo and Lyra stood with Liam near the main door. We are ready. Neo said. You shouldn't have to fight, Liam said gently. Lyra looked up. But we are not just hiding anymore. If we keep running, more people will get hurt. Like you, like Myra, like others. Liam knelt down. Then we fight together, as a family. That night, Mira activated the beacon. A blue light blinked as the message was sent into the sky. Emergency on Elora. Varn forces hunting alien children. Need help. Coordinates locked. They didn't know if anyone would answer. Far above the planet, Commander Varnick stood in his warship. His officers reported the failure of the Shadow Unit. They are stronger than before, one said. Varnick narrowed his eyes. The seal must be broken. The powers have returned. He stared at the screen showing the desert outpost. Send the full attack squad. Wipe out everything. Back at the outpost, alarms began to beep. Mira rushed to the screen. Multiple ships incoming. 10, maybe more. They're coming, Liam said. The group moved quickly. Mira handed out devices and weapons. Liam placed Neo and Lyra in the center room, surrounded by strong walls. Only defend if they break through, he said. Promise me. The twins nodded. Then the first wave hit. From the sky, sharp black ships fired blasts at the rocks around the outpost. Dust filled the air. The ground shook. Liam and Mira fired back with laser rifles, hitting one of the ships. It spun and crashed. Into the cliffs. Soldiers dropped from the sky using jet suits. They ran toward the entrance, but Liam had set traps, explosives, shock wires, smoke bombs. 2 soldiers were caught in the blast. The others took cover. Inside, Lyra and Neo felt the walls shake. They are many, Lyra whispered. We must. Help, Neo said. No, Lyra said. Wait for Liam's signal. Outside, the fight grew harder. Mira was hit in the leg but kept shooting. Liam pulled her back behind a wall. We can't hold them much longer. She shouted. Just then, a bright light shot from the sky. A new ship appeared, not from the Varn fleet, but different. Sleek white, with a blue symbol on its wing. Another one followed. Then a voice came through the comm. This is Captain Wren of Colony Guard. We received your signal. Backup arriving. Liam smiled. They heard us. The sky lit up as the Colony Guard ships fired at the Varn attackers. One enemy ship exploded in mid-air. Soldiers began to retreat. Commander Varnick watched from his warship. Humans help. Them now, he said bitterly. He turned to his officers. Prepare my descent. I will finish this myself. Back on the ground, the outpost shook again, but this time it wasn't from guns or bombs. It was from something heavier. A large drop pod crashed near the outpost gate. Its doors opened slowly. Varnick stepped out. Tall, covered in black and red. Armor, eyes glowing like fire. He walked toward the outpost, lasers bouncing off his armor like dust. Liam saw him. He's here. Mira gasped. That's him. The commander. We can't stop him, Liam said. But then, the inner door opened. Neo and Lyra stepped out. Stay back, Liam shouted. You promised. We keep our promise, Lyra said. But he came for us. Not for you. The twins walked outside together. Varnick stopped. You should not have survived, he said. Your kind is finished. Lyra stepped forward. You are wrong. The twins raised their hands. A circle of light formed around them. The sand under. Their feet rose into the air. The sky above them turned golden. Varnix fired a beam of dark energy at them, but it stopped. Mid-air frozen by Lyra.N.I.O. turned the beam into pure light and sent it back. It struck Varnix and knocked him down. He stood, roaring in anger. Then the colony guard ships locked onto him. Laser fire rained down, forcing him back into the pod. It launched upward, retreating into the sky. The battle was over. The sky cleared. The dust settled. Liam, Mira, the twins, and the guards stood in the silence. You did it, Liam whispered. No, Lyra said. We did it, together. The wind was soft across the desert after the battle ended. The sky above the outpost was now clear, and the stars began to shine again. Smoke still rose from the broken ground where ships had crashed and weapons had fired. But for the first time in many days, the world around Liam felt quiet. Liam stood beside Mira, looking out from the broken wall. His shirt was dusty, and his arm had a small burn, but he didn't care. All he cared about now was that the twins were safe, behind them. Neo and Lyra sat near the entrance, both calm, their hands glowing gently. They had used their powers in ways Liam had never seen before. They weren't just children anymore. They were something greater. But they were still his. Colony Guard soldiers walked through the area, helping the wounded, carrying supplies, and checking the equipment. Captain Wren, the leader of the guard, stepped up to Liam and Mira. You've done something brave here, the captain said. Without you, we would have never known the Varn were hunting on this planet. Liam nodded. I just wanted to protect them. The captain looked at Neo and Lyra. They're powerful. And very important. Many other worlds will want to meet them, maybe even use them. Liam stepped in front of the captain. They are not weapons. They're just kids. They're more than kids, the captain replied. And the galaxy will soon know. That evening, a campfire was built inside the outpost. It was the first peaceful night in a long time. The twins sat beside Liam, holding warm cups of soup. Mira sat across, her leg now bandaged, smiling quietly. I remember when my life was just about crops and quiet mornings, Liam said with a smile. Now I'm fighting aliens and flying through deserts. You still drink tea in the morning. Mira said with a laugh. That's true. Lyra looked up at Liam. Are we going back to the farm? Liam paused. Do you want to? Neo nodded. It was home. Mira looked thoughtful. The farm's still standing. The forest around it is safe again. The Varn are gone for now. Liam took a deep breath. Then we go home. The next day, a colony guard ship took them back to the forest. As they flew over the green land, Liam felt peace in his chest. When they landed near the old wooden house, he saw the front door still hanging open and the porch lights still broken. But it was home. Neo ran to the garden. Lyra followed him. They touched the trees, the soil, the flowers. The glowing marks on their arms shone brighter. They missed this place, Liam said quietly. Mira walked beside him. And maybe this place missed them. Days passed. Life began to feel normal again. Liam repaired the house. Mira helped build a safer wall around the farm. The twins helped grow food faster and stronger with their powers. Plants grew double in size. Water stayed clean. Machines that were broken for years now worked perfectly. One afternoon, Neo floated above the barn, painting the roof with a brush while humming. Lyra sat under a tree, moving rocks in the air to build little towers. Liam smiled as he watched. "They're becoming something special," Mira nodded. "They already are." One morning, a small ship arrived. It brought a messenger from the Galactic Council. He brought a letter, sealed with gold. Liam opened it and read the words slowly. "The twins are invited to speak before the council, to represent the lost people of their kind. They will not be taken. They will be free. But their presence may inspire peace among others." He looked at Neo and Lyra. "You've been asked to go far from here," he said gently. "To speak, to help others." Lyra looked unsure. "Do you want us to go?" Liam smiled. "I want you to choose." Neo stood up. "We will go. But we'll come back." Lyra nodded. "This will always be home." And so, a few days later, the twins left the planet, this time not as lost children, but as symbols of peace and power. The council welcomed them. Across many worlds, people began to learn about the Varn's cruelty and the strength of kindness. War slowed. Talks of peace began. The names Neo and Lyra spread across the stars, not as weapons, but as hope. Back on Elora, Liam and Mira kept the farm alive. They taught young kids from nearby villages. They grew food, repaired machines, and told stories about the day the sky lit up with light and fire, and how two glowing children saved them all. Months later, the twins returned. They were taller now, stronger, wiser, but when they ran to Liam and hugged him tight, they were still his children. "I missed you," Liam said, holding them close. "We missed you more," Lyra whispered. Neo smiled. "Now we protect others like you protected us." That night, under the stars, the family sat together again. There were no battles, no fear, just warmth, peace and love. The human who once lived alone now had a family from the stars. And though he didn't know it at first, the day he saved the twins was the day he also saved the future.